Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Kaveri Seeds Company's Q1 FY'25 earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. Before we begin, I would like to mention that some of the statements made in today's call may be forward-looking in nature and may involve risk and uncertainties. For a list of such considerations, please refer to the earnings presentation. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Mithun Chand, Executive Director. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome. Good afternoon and welcome everyone to our quarter one financial year 21-25 earnings conference call. We hope you have had a chance to review the presentation of our results, which is also available on our website. I would touch upon the operational and financial performance of the company and then open the floor for question and answer session. Company is very bullish on both maize and rice and expects both volumes and realizations to go up in the years to come. Increase in volumes in both maize and rice have resulted in growth rates and revenues. Sowing area and maize and rice is approximately 8% and 5.2%.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Your voice is breaking.
Am I clear now?
Yes, you are clear now, sir.
Company is able to successfully pass the cost of cultivation and
Sir, your voice is breaking in between, sir.
Oh, sorry. Exports during the quarter have been very encouraging and would continue to do well in the coming years to come. Contribution of new products have substantially increased in both maize and bajra. Cotton volumes and revenues were down by 30% and 21% respectively. Standalone financial highlights. Revenue from operations was at 808.08 crore as compared to 767.37 crore in quarter one 2024. Registered a growth of 5.32%. EBITDA 92.29 crore as compared to 29.09 crore in quarter one financial year 24. Increased by 4.91%. Net profit was at 282.91 crore as compared to 267.84 crore. Registered a growth of 5.63%. The cash on books stands at 605 crores. Hybrid rice volumes increased by 10% and revenues increased by 17%. Selection rice volumes increased by 15% and revenues increased by 27%. Maize volumes increased by 97% and revenues increased by 80%. The contribution of new products was up from 67.67% to 75.79% of volumes in bajra. The contribution of new products was up from 40 to 52% of volume in maize crop. Cotton volume as well as revenue decreased by 35% and 27% respectively. Vegetable crops like beetroot, tomato, red gourd, sponge gourd, and marigold have been performed well. Export business sales is increased by 451.73% compared to last year, quarter one. I would now open the floor for question and answer session.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to withdraw yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handset while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. First question is from the line of Siddharth from Goodwill. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Last quarter you had guided for a 4-5% volume fall in cotton, if I'm not wrong, and volumes have fallen dramatically by 35%. So what would your guidance be for the year, or an approximate one, and what has caused this huge 35% fall?
Yeah. When we started the last year, we thought that the cotton acreage will go up this year, but we thought that the supply will be lower this year. But when we see this year, the acreages were down by 10% across the country, and there was more steep fall in the states of northern India where we were very strong. And there was some issue with the production also, where the hybrids which were in demand was in shortage for us. And there was a huge supply in the market. And as we want to retain our volumes, as we want to retain our realization, we are compromised in volumes as well. So that's the major impact which we are seeing this year.
Will we be able to catch up some of our cotton sales in the upcoming quarters, or is it...
Majority of the sale is already done for this year. I don't think the cotton acreages, cotton sales will happen in the next coming quarters. But this is a sale what we anticipate, and this will remain as it is.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Rishi Kothari from PI Square Investments. Please go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, hi sir. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and congratulations on good set of numbers. Sir, I had while going through this is the first time I'm attending the Kaveri Concall.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Your voice is breaking.
I'm audible now properly?
Yes, please proceed.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, this is the first time I'm attending a company's Concall conference. But so while going through the financials, what I saw is that on a quarterly basis, the June quarter is one of the quarters that is post the highest sales among the all other quarters. So what exactly is it because of the crop that we deal in, or if at all that is the reason? Is there any other possibility of changing the dynamics from a full year rather than a seasonal revenue posting for us?
We are in a business where it's very much seasonal because we get monsoon in the month of June, July, and majority of the crop comes after the monsoon. And especially, for example, if you take cotton only comes in the month of May, June, and July. So we will be in line with the season. But if you see our portfolio, we have one of the largest portfolio with a good mix of crops. And going forward, I think this will remain as same, but the percentage will slightly change going forward. But definitely, first quarter will be the major quarter for us.
Okay, but eventually, let's say 2-3 years down the line, what are the revenue targets do we have in terms of the growth targets? Do we have anything on our mind or internally that we have decided?
So we anticipated a growth of 10% in terms of the top line and 15 to 20% in the bottom line. We gave that guidance, but this year, unfortunately, we couldn't do well in the cotton crop because of the as the crop has come down and for various reasons, might be there because of the pest attack or otherwise the returns on the crop were lower this year. But otherwise, if you see the other way, we have managed, in spite cotton being more than 35% of our portfolio, where we have lost 35% of the revenue. In spite of that downfall in the revenues, we were able to manage by growing in other segments, especially like maize and rice, wherein maize has grown by more than 75% and rice has grown by more than 25%. So that gives us a better edge than other companies where we have a good mix and we can compensate revenue loss in other crops. But going forward, even we are bullish on cotton. This, as I said, that sometimes based on the seasonality and the price of the commodity, it varies, but I don't see a threat in the long-term business. As there will be a year or two where we see these type of unexpected things, but it would take a compounded way. 10% 10 to 12% revenue growth and 15 to 20% as a bottom line is quite possible.
For how many years are we expecting? For 2-3 years or any?
Going forward, I'm taking about 5 to 10 years view.
Okay, 5 to 10 years. Okay. And in terms of the cotton prices that you said, right now I read a report that cotton prices recently has increased like what on an average of 4 to 5%. So does that beneficial to us or is it a harmful thing for us as a company?
It's a beneficial thing for us. If the prices goes up, that gives more revenue for the farmer. But the other way is that like even our production cost has gone up and we were not able to reduce the cost of production. We were not able to reduce the cost of production and we were not able to pass it on to the farmer because it's controlled by government and that's one of the reasons where we have lost the sales.
So we have in a way absorbed the cost of production that has increased for us and not passed on to the farmers. So that has in a way capped our margins in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And in terms of the capex, what are we targeting for next year, FY'25?
So capex is a continuous thing. As we are increasing volumes in other crops, we require new plants and facilities to process the seeds. And other thing is that we are spending a lot in R&D. So as we have said earlier also, 40 to 50 crores is what we spend on year basis for the capex. That should be more than sufficient for us.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for the information. I will join back with you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Janvi from Equitas Investments. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. My question is on the lines of, the announcement on 109 seeds during elections by PM Modi. So, in a few articles, I read that these seeds also include a few of rice and cotton seeds. So, could you help with out of 109 seeds, how many seeds can we end up benefiting from? And what sort of size of opportunity are we looking at in case of approvals?
So basically, those seeds are released by the government. We need to see the performance of those seeds. But anyhow, we are not accessing those seeds. We have our own in-house R&D where we breed for it and we sell in the market. So we don't use those seeds.
Okay, so
but the other way, we have tie-ups with the universities where we source the main. We have access to their germplasm and we have tie-ups with all the government bodies and international institutes where we take access to the germplasm in using or in developing hybrid seeds for us.
Okay, but however, even if the performance of these seeds for some of these seeds comes out really well, we would not end up using these seeds or not end up benefiting from this at all?
No, as of now, no, because we have our own research and we need to see that. But we have many hybrids which we need to see the performance of that. This is the first year where they are launching it. We can only comment after seeing the results of that.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Sanjeev Zarbade from Dreamladder Advisors. Please go ahead. Mr. Sanjeev, your line is unmuted. Please proceed.
Yeah, can you give me a sense of
your voice is very low, sir.
Is it audible now?
Slightly better, sir.
Okay. Can you give me a sense of the demand outlook for the future, for over the medium term?
So if you see the crops where we are dealing with, we are mainly with rice, cotton, and maize. These are the three big crops. Apart from these, we are into vegetables, bajra, sorghum, and all other crops. But if you see the top four crops like maize, rice, vegetables, and cotton, we see a growth in most of the crops because maize area is increasing year on year as there's too much as the government has initiated for the ethanol projects. That will give a good way for maize. And in rice, the hybridization percentage is going up. That's a good sign for us to increase the market shares of hybrid rice, and we are a part of it. And apart from that, cotton, if you see year on year, it's coming down, but definitely cotton has a trade in the medium term, 3 to 5 year view, definitely that should go up. So, and vegetables as a segment is increasing at more than 15% year on year. So we are there in most of the segments. Apart from that, we are there in niche markets like mustard, bajra. So these are also doing well, including sunflower. So we see a good growth in most of the crops, and we are not worried about the we are not worried about the cropping pattern as such, as we are well diversified portfolio. And in most of the crops, we are in the top three, so we'll definitely get advantage of that. We see a good growth in the coming years.
Yeah. Thanks for the detailed answer. And what would be the size of exports over the next 2 years?
If you see exports, the last 3-4 years, we have gained some traction in exports, especially in like new crops like sunflower, rice, and maize. These are three big crops where we are exporting, including vegetables is also there, where we are doing in a very small way. But as you are aware that it takes a longer time for us to establish in different countries because the farmer only believes in seeing. So it takes some time. But it's very fortunate that the samples or experiments or what we have done in the last years, it has given a very good result. Going forward, we are targeting many countries, especially like the African countries and Southeast Asian countries. These are the two where we are concentrating on, and we are getting back. So if you see in the down the line 3 to 5 years, we are very bullish on exports, and exports will definitely growing more faster than our normal growth.
Okay. Great, sir. That's it from my side and all the best.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Mohammed Patel from Care Portfolio Managers Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Hi. So the textile minister mentioned that we can expect approval of new BT cotton variety. So where are
Sorry, can you be a bit louder, please?
Textile minister mentioned that we can expect approval of the new BT cotton variety. So where are we on that?
We are one of the largest player in BT cotton segment, hybrid BT cotton segment, and we are already a part of the entire program. Whenever they give the licenses, we'll be one of the topmost to get benefited from that. So we are very optimistic that the most of the approvals will be approved now, and we already are in tie with the service provider, so it should not be a problem for us. And it's a very good sign for the industry as well, because once the idea of genetically modified crops are cleared, it's not only cotton, there are many other crops to come in. So that's a very good sign for the industry, and we are very bullish and optimistic about that.
So can we expect this to be a part of our sales next year?
We can't time exactly because it depends on the government approval. But by seeing the pace and by seeing the approach of the service provider and the government's approach towards approving the genetically modified crops, it looks that it will be released as early as possible.
And whenever this happens, what kind of opportunity this can bring for Kaveri?
So basically, the entire cropping pattern will move to the new technology. So as we are already there in that business and we are in tie-up with the service provider, so definitely we'll be a part of it. And again, based on our hybrid performance, definitely we have an opportunity to increase our market shares. So that's we are in like very positive, very well placed for the new technology.
And so whenever this happens, we can expect to grow 20-30%, much higher than what we would have grown with the older technology.
See, that all depends. Like it's not about technology. Definitely, technology will definitely make a improvement in the yields for the farmer. But again, it depends on the hybrid. The compatibility with the technology with the hybrid that matters. But the pipeline hybrids what we have, it might be too early. But with the experience, what we can say is that the hybrids what we have in the pipeline will definitely will help us to increase the market share.
So you're saying after the approval, we can see higher growth in the cotton segment for a few years?
Definitely. If not even, I'll say, even if the technology is not approved, but the pipeline hybrids what we have are giving better yields. Down the line, we see that even if the technology is approved or not approved, we'll definitely increase the market share in the coming years.
And what will be the pricing for this new technology with the government regulated?
That again, that need to be decided and discussed both with the technology provider and the government. We are too early on that, but definitely they are working on that one, the technology. They will work on that when the technology is approved.
Okay, sir. My next question is, any update on the contingent liability and the tax matters?
As of now, nothing. What we have disclosed is what we have, and something comes up, definitely we'll disclose it to the exchanges and investors.
What is the exports number for Q1? Absolute number?
Q1 is a very lean quarter. The exports. I'll just let you know in a while. Before the end of the call, I'll just let you know.
It's okay. It's okay. My next question is, so maize grew 80%. So what have we gained market share as compared to last year? That is resulting into high growth?
Sorry?
Maize has grown 80%. So I was just trying to understand, have we gained market share as compared to last year?
Definitely, the maize acreages are up by 10%, and in terms of the volumes, we are up by 50%. Definitely, we have gained market share in that.
Can you share the number, market share?
Sorry?
Can you share the market share number?
We'll be around 10 to 11% of the market share now.
And what was this number last year?
It will be. I'm just figuring out the first quarter, but we need to see market share at the end of the year. It's too early to decide about the market shares.
Okay. What are the R&D spends expected for FY'25?
It will be 15% higher than last year.
Okay.
Last year was around expenses around 55, and the capex was around 15 crores, 70 to 80 crores for the total expenditure on R&D. That will go up by at least 15%.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Rohan Patel from Turtle Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Go on, please.
Yeah. Some data points I want from your side. As for March, as for financial year 24, what would be our cotton sales?
Sorry, can you please repeat?
As of March 24, for financial year 24, what would be our cotton sales in volume as well as in the value?
I'm not able to hear you properly. Sorry.
Yeah, give me a second. For financial year 24, what would be the cotton sales for the year in value and volume terms?
Cotton sales usually are there. Usually, majority of the sale happens in the first quarter. The numbers which are there for the first quarter is more or less like for the year. Last year, we have sold around 55 lakh packets. This year, around 36 lakh packets.
Okay, you sold. I'm asking for financial year 24. Is this for financial year 24?
Yeah, more or less like financial year 24, 55, 56 is the total sale.
Okay. And what would be in value terms for financial year 24?
I don't, as of now, I don't know the exact number for the entire financial year for the cotton crop, but I can tell you the quarter basis because plus or minus 5% will be the total sale for the year. For the financial year, 23-24, the cotton sale was close to 350 crores.
Okay.
This year it is like 250 crores for the first quarter. So more or less it should look similar to the. It should look same for the entire year.
Okay, I see. And I just missed your comments on the reason why our cotton sales fell for this quarter one FY'25. Can you just help me?
I explained in the earlier.
Yeah, I missed that part.
But anyhow, as we had low inventory this year compared to last year, we had a constraint in getting the stock for our main hybrids. That is one thing where we are not the same. The other thing, cotton acreage as a whole in India has decreased by 10%. And in the areas where we are strong, especially in northern India, the acreage has went down to more than 20%. The other thing is that the cost of production is.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Your voice is breaking. Sir, your voice.
Yeah, I could not hear your whole explanation.
So
Sir, it is still breaking. We are not able to hear you properly.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah. The other thing is that as the production cost has gone up, and we were not, I mean to say like the selling price got increased by only 10 rupees. So we wanted to realize more. In that way, consciously we have lost some sale.
Okay.
So that's where we lost. There are four or five reasons where that as a combination of all where we have lost the market share.
Okay.
Market share and sale.
Okay, so the main would be that one, the acreages are down by 10%. Second, the cost has increased, which you could not be passed on. So we wouldn't want to sell it at certain realizations which are not profitable for us.
Yes, exactly.
These are the two, three main reasons. And we have
and the other thing, where we were very strong in northern India, we lost. I mean to say the acreages were down by 20%.
Acreages were down by 20% for cotton.
Where we were strong, especially in northern India.
Okay.
And the other reason is that we were not having the hybrids because there was a production constraint last year because of pest and rainfall. We couldn't get the desired quantities of the most, the popular hybrids. That's one of the reasons.
Okay, thank you. That was from my side.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Ranjit from IIFL Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Thanks for this opportunity. First thing on the cotton front, so would it be too early to kind of give some comments over the next year's availability? How is the production timing of this year?
It's early, but we'll definitely get an indication because this year we were able to get more production area, and as of now the crop also looks good because we have good rainfall this year. I don't see any constraint in terms of availability for next year, not only for Kaveri, but for the industry. We don't see any constraint for that. The production will be sufficient for next year.
Right. So would it be fair to assume that we can go back to the 24 kind of a volumes, FY'24 kind of a volumes back to 5.5, 5.6?
Definitely, we are pretty confident about that, and there are a couple of new hybrids which were launched last year, but we couldn't sell in a good quantity this year. Even we are expecting a good production for that hybrid. So if that comes in, definitely we see a good growth in cotton.
Yeah, thank you. And the second question is on the margins front. So despite cotton underperforming significantly, we are still able to protect our margins. So what is happening on the non-cotton seeds front? Which are the seeds or the segments that we have seen a bit of an improved profitability this year, and how sustainable that would be?
Non-cotton crops are not pricing is not controlled by the government, and we can easily pass it on to the farmer. So we work on a different margins in those crops, even though if you see the production cost has increased in non-cotton segment as well, but we were able to pass it on to the farmer. So that's the reason we were able to maintain our margins.
Can you give a ballpark number on the margin for the non-cotton seeds?
That will be a bit difficult, but if you see the first quarter figures, the EBITDA margins, I mean to say they're like minus other income, the EBITDA margins stood at like 35%.
Right.
So they should be something like close to 38-39%. But when we talk about the margins, we need to see this for the entire year, being first quarter being a major year, the margins looks higher.
Right. So we should settle around 24-25%, and
that's it.
28. Okay. And can you guide us how much has been the quantum of the price increases in the non-cotton side?
If you see, like it's like the more than in between 10 to 15% is the price hike. That's the same we have incurred. I mean to say even the cost of production has also gone up by more than 10 to 15%. We have increased in the same ratio as what the cost of production got increased.
Right. And finally, any thoughts on the continuing with the rewarding or the distribution of these profits? So we were earlier doing buybacks and dividends.
Again, that's a board call we need to take, but if you see in the recent budget, there was a changes in the taxation front.
Right.
That we need to again discuss in the board, and then we'll take a call on that. But we have not discussed anything about that because we have just completed a buyback last quarter. So we'll come up with the decision during the later quarter.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Janish Shah, who is an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for giving an opportunity. Just wanted to get some understanding on the product mix. Basically, I think you've already managed to have almost like 2/3, 1/3 kind of a mix between the cotton and non-cotton in the season. Basically, the first quarter, which is the most remunerative quarter for the company. Going ahead now, how do we see the seasonality getting even out, or do you think the variations in revenue can be a little bit balanced going ahead as we go ahead, maybe in next 2-3 years, given that we have launched new varieties and we are also trying to diversify the crop patterns? So how do we see that changing? And of course, you have already mentioned the profitability is higher. Do you think this year, in spite of the sharp decline in the sales of cotton, the margin, the profitability which you guided around 15-20% growth in bottom line could be achieved, or do you think it will get pushed back to the subsequent years? Thank you, sir.
First, coming back to your last part, in terms of the profitability, as first quarter is a major quarter, I don't think we'll attain that 15 to 20% margin profitability, because we have grown at 5 to 7% in terms of the profitability for this year. I think that should remain same by plus or minus other 2% here and there. But when coming back to the seasonality and the business, even I explained in the earlier call, as India being majority of the Indian, this agriculture, majority of the acreage comes after the monsoon, which is in the month of June, May, June, July. So these are the main quarters for us, and this will be the main, for India, this will be the main season. So we will be in line with the Indian seasonality. But yes, going down the line by like 3-4 years, as a percentage of contribution in the first quarter and in the next subsequent 3 quarters will change. As a percentage, it will come down. If you see 10 years back and now, 90% to 95% of the revenue used to come in the first quarter, but right now it's only 65 to 70%. Going forward, it might come down further, but definitely first quarter will be a major quarter for us. Not only for us, any hybrid seed company.
Okay. And is there any outlook on export in a sense, in terms of numbers? What kind of a visibility or a target you set for yourself for next 2 to 3 years? As you already mentioned that that export is going to grow faster than the overall company growth rate. So if you can just give some more flavor to it, that will be helpful. And does it a margin accretive? I'm saying, do we have an export as a higher margin than the domestic one? Thank you.
Export looks very good for us, as we are at every year we are adding new countries. When you see in the last 5-6 years, every year we are our hybrids are getting introduced to different countries. So going forward, we are very bullish on exports, and the export market is as a whole is also growing as an Indian perspective. And as crops, we have enough crops to export to other countries. Going down the line, we see a better growth, as rightly said, but we see a better growth in exports when compared to normal growth. But as of now, it's only 4 to 5% of our total revenue. Down the line, 3 years, it should be like close to 10% of our total revenue.
Okay. And margins are better?
It's like in line with the normal market, but right now we are even slightly compromised on the margins as well, as we need to establish our hybrids in the market. But down the line, once we get the good market grip, or when our hybrids get popular in those countries, definitely we'll try to increase the realization. As of now, it's slightly lower than what we realize here.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Kushri Parekh from Pentacle. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. So my question is that just this last week, government released some new varieties of seeds, the breeder seeds, which I believe will take about 2, 3, 4 years for the companies to start developing and making it available commercially. So how is the market dynamics likely to change because of this? And is there going to be any impact on Kaveri Seeds business going forward?
Even I explained some of the question earlier. I see these are new hybrids which are launched right now. We need to see the performance of the hybrids. But technically, if you see, there are many companies which are introducing hybrids every year. Not 100 hybrids, there are thousands of hybrids which get introduced every year across India, whether it by government or whether it by private players. So as a company, we are competing with all these and doing a business in most of the crops. So that will be that doesn't make much difference for us, because we are more dependent on our own R&D, and we are pretty confident about our own R&D and the pipeline hybrids what we are seeing now. So as of now, As of now, we can't comment about those hybrids which are going to get released in the next 1 to 3 years. But by seeing our present portfolio and the pipeline hybrids, we are pretty confident that we'll do better than the industry.
Okay, got it. And how is our product mix likely to change over the next 3 to 5 years?
I don't see much change in the product mix because we already lost a significant revenue in cotton. Last year also, if we said that we can't go below in cotton, but due to some circumstances, we lost revenues in cotton as well from the bottom, what we thought as a bottom. But if you see the crops portfolios where we operate, we don't see any decline from now. So what I mean to say is that the product mix will not change much going forward. Going forward, the cotton percentage might slightly go what we had this year because we see a good growth in cotton in the coming next 3 to 5 years. And definitely we are growing in other crops also. As a low base, cotton will grow much faster than other crops.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Pradeep Rawat from Yogya Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening and thank you for the opportunity. So I have some basic questions. So first of all, do we procure seed from outside or do we manufacture it in-house?
Basically, we produce the seed. We take land on lease, and we have our own seeds where we take the production activity and produce for ourselves.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier that the supply of seeds were not good for cotton, so that's why our volume took a hit. So I didn't got the point. So can you elaborate on that?
I said that we take land on lease and produce ourselves. Last time there was there was some deficit rainfall in some areas where we have produced, and the other thing is that the delayed rains. The intervals between the rainfalls were too high, and there was some pest infestation. So these all have affected our production activity. That's the reason we are not able to get the desired inventory levels.
Yeah, understood. And where do we have our lands? So it is spread out over India, or is it consolidated in some regions?
So we don't purchase land based on our need and requirement. We take land on lease for the season and then produce the hybrids. There are some specific areas where the climatic conditions are good, so we produce there. For example, in cotton, we produce in Andhra, Gadwal region, or some Maharashtra, Gujarat, and some Karnataka. So based on the climatic conditions, we choose the land, and that's how we produce it. Based on the need and requirement, we take land on lease and produce it.
Yeah, understood. And sir, my second question is, are we seeing decreased acreage of cotton, partly due to the high demand for maize and rice due to ethanol policy? So more land is being utilized for growing rice and maize rather than cotton. So is that understanding correct?
There are many reasons for that. As of now, the maize prices are high. One reason might be because of ethanol, but most of the ethanol projects are not started. But still, the maize price is pretty high now. The maize crop looks much lucrative than the cotton. That's the reason farmers are also moving it. And the other thing is that cotton cultivation has become a bit difficult now. One, because of the pests. And second, because of not that lucrative price for the cotton. That's another reason why the cotton acreages are down.
Yeah. And the seed requirement per hectare of cotton acreage, so is it higher than the rice, maize? So do we need more amount of seed to grow per hectare of cotton?
We can't specify that because some requires in kgs, some requires in grams. For example, to per acre of land, cotton they require just like 900 or 1 kg of seed, whereas in rice it requires 10 kg to 30 kg. So that all depends on which crop we are cultivating.
Yeah, understood. And you just said that first quarter
In vegetables, it's in grams.
Yeah, understood. So my next question is regarding the export. So you mentioned that this was a lean quarter for exports. So can you highlight which is the bulk quarter for exports?
Usually second, third, and fourth, because as of now we are very small. The base is very low, and when we add new countries, the sale based on their climatic conditions, the export will go up. But usually 2, 3, 4 quarters are the major quarters.
Okay, understood. Thank you for answering all the questions and all the best.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Rohan Patel from Turtle Capital. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. Again, just to reiterate what you just said, that due to low base in cotton, we will be expecting cotton to grow faster than other crops in next 3 to 5 years. Is that right?
Yeah, as I said that the overall company growth in terms of the revenue should be 10 to 12% going forward when you take a 3 to 5 year view. But being a cotton low base, from here we expect higher better growth than the normal growth in cotton.
Okay. And see, for that to happen and to capitalize on that, first the cotton acreage needs to be increased. And second is we have to gain the market share for that. Is that assumption right?
Yes, definitely cotton acreages should remain stable or at least should go up. And the other thing is that we need to have enough production where we can supply for the demand. The other thing is that we need to have good hybrids, pipeline hybrids or new hybrids which got introduced or which are getting to introduce next 1 to 2 years should do well. So out of these three, we expect the acreages going up. Second thing, we have good production for the coming years, and next we have a better hybrids. So this, as a combination of these three, we see a good growth in cotton.
And do we see that just marginal increase in acreage just to see that rice and maize are having good realizations for the farmers, and if cotton acreages don't grow substantially, with stable acreage or current acreage we can grow at 10-12% the cotton seed for next 3 years. Is that possible?
Yeah, even if by seeing the present acreages and if they are stable, still we can grow in those segments because we lost market share or we lost volume. Basically, we don't have the desired hybrid levels, hybrid what they want. For the next coming years, we will definitely have those hybrids because the production looks good for this year. And we had a very aggressive production program this year, so I don't see any challenge for the desired products.
Okay. And can you name what kind of hybrid are you bringing into the market that will help us grow our share?
So there are different segments and different hybrids. The company as a whole, we market more than 200 hybrids. So they are not only for cotton, for a mix as a whole as a company. So we market more than 200 hybrids. So based on each segment, we have different hybrids and different pipeline hybrids, which are performing well, and that gives us confidence to say that we'll grow much better in cotton in the company.
Okay. And just to confirm, like in previous calls, you were saying that over the next 3-5 years, if we take our non-cotton portfolio will be growing in range of somewhere around 15%, plus or minus 2%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you see, we have grown much better this year when compared to what we have guided earlier. But we have lost sale in cotton, like more than 35% of our revenues and volumes.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
So we were able to do better in non-cotton segment than cotton. But when you see as a combine as a whole for the next 5 years, even if you recollect, I was saying that there will be a year or two where we see ups and downs based on the seasonality and the pest. So this is a season where we see that sort of a difficulty. But when you compare in the next 3 to 5 years as a consolidated, as a CAGR basis, definitely we'll go in between 10 to 12% in terms of revenue and 15 to 20% in terms of the margins.
Okay. Thank you. That was from my side.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Yash Gandhi from Stallion Asset. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. I just want to understand how does the pricing sort of work in the industry, and how do farmers sort of compare prices of different competitions? If you just sort of comment on that, just for sort of my understanding.
Definitely, farmers compare with the price and with yield. When you see price,
sorry to interrupt, sir. Your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking, sir.
I'm audible now?
Yes, sir.
If you see the expenditure or spend on seed as a total cultivation is less than 5% for the farmer. So it doesn't mind to spend more for the good quality seed which gives better yield than the competition. So based on the competition, based on our hybrid performance, we price it 10% plus or minus of the prevailing hybrid, which is doing better in those markets. And in that way, the other thing is that when we are in the market, when our production cost is going up, that will be similar for the other competition as well. So they will also increase the prices. So in that way, more or less, we will be in line with the competition, 10 to 20% based on our hybrid performance. So that shouldn't be a challenge for us.
Okay. And so, over here, would the sort of your distributors will have some sort of a leverage in terms of, what areas or what states they want to sell, let's say, one particular brand against, some other brands, or do you have like sole distributors?
So basically, it's like it's not like definitely distributors or retailers will have a say in the call, but more than 75 to 80% of the farmers buys the seed by seeing the performance. So if a hybrid has those sort of potential to give better yield, then the farmer will definitely ask for that. But yeah, as rightly said, some distributors will where they will say that 15 to 20% of the market where they push some products or where they get, or by the farmer they take new hybrids which are newly introduced in the market to try. Otherwise, like 75 to 80% of the farmers buys by seeing the performance of the hybrids.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as there are no further questions from the participants, on behalf of Kaveri Seeds, that concludes this conference. Thank you all for joining us. For any more information, please be in touch with Rama Naidu from Intelligent IR on 9920209623. Thank you. You may now disconnect your lines.
Thank you.